Hello everyone, welcome to Ultimate Diecast. My name's Tyrone, and today is a pretty special day because I finally get to open some gifts from Jeroen at Chasing Diecast Cars over there in Belgium. These came in, a lot more than this actually, came in the gift box from Jeroen months ago now, and only now I've got to get to them. Time is a funny thing. And there was a little bit of a backstory to why so much time has passed, because even when they came in, I should tell you that my focus today is helicopters and also French police. What was I saying? Already off on a tangent a few minutes into the video. That's right. When these first came in, I got quite choked up about it because things like, where are you? Step forward. Things like this appeared for the first time in decades into the collection, and I couldn't bear to go back into the box after I'd finished the initial video, so I just sort of hastily packed them away and put them out of sight because they meant a bit too much to me. So here we are, months down the track into, where are we, April, as my cat starts to whinge handily out the door. Might be either a noisy video with a whinging cat or a split video, but we'll see how we go. What was I saying? Helicopters. This fits. Is that taped in? Oh no. Very gingerly remove it from its package. I think I told a story on the original video about my history with majorette helicopters. I had one. It was perhaps bigger than this, but maybe that's my perception because I, at the time, was much smaller than I am. It's funny, whenever I get the opportunity to visit New Zealand and I do a drive-by in whatever rental car I have at the time of my excuse me, of my childhood house, it seems so small, but of course I was so much smaller in the 80s. Yet another sidetrack, sorry. My story about the majorette helicopter. One of my older brothers got me so angry at him one morning that I threw it at him, and it missed him and hit the wall behind him and broke. I think the tail section broke off or the propeller snapped or something happened. And yeah. It's crazy what you do as a kid. It's crazy what you do as an adult. Look at me collecting helicopters. And I've got a semi-truck, prime mover, whatever you might call it. And the target also of today's little unboxing is the French police vehicles. I intend to get a whole bunch of major kit from the 80s because I suppose I'm better known for collecting Matchbox cars and paraphernalia, but I also had a rampant major kit and majorette supply in the mid-80s or early 80s in New Zealand. They were very popular when I was a kid, especially in my household. We loved them. We had a whole little town growing up around us. I believe if I ever sink into some kind of nervous breakdown, you'll find me on a rug in this house somewhere setting up a whole village with many thousands of cars around me in some kind of dramatic diorama. But let's hope it doesn't get to that. Maybe it will voluntarily, but let's hope it doesn't get to that via a nervous breakdown. We've got a launch, as you would probably call it. I'm sure that all comes apart. What is that? Man. Oh man. I'm going to leave that as is because I'm here for the helicopters, folks. Clearly not in scale, but you know, kids' imagination picks up the slack, doesn't it? And when you're high above everybody, scale is meaningless. Obviously French flag on the tail rotor. Yeah. Nice little piece. So we'll put him there, and we've got a French fire helicopter. That's actually a better looking helicopter. And then I won't open all of these today. There is that the same model helicopter? Looks like it. Yep. But that's the German Polizei version, whereas that's Gendarmerie. So I might leave him in there, but I want to get a look at, I suppose, I'll show the other one. Maybe you're not getting a better view, or as good a view as you could, so make sure you get to see what I'm seeing. There you go. Now, I thought this was a rescue service when I first took it out of the box in the original unboxing, but I've been informed that it's actually a police service, and I'm probably going to be corrected again. It's a 50-50 chance because I can't remember if it was the Belgian police or the Dutch police. I want to say it's the Dutch police because I vaguely remember seeing Belgian police and they use the same word for police as the French and English, but that's going out on a limb. Speaking of going out on a limb, I don't think the Mustang featured in any European police force, but it still looks cool. But I think for that model helicopter, as you are still looking skyward, we'll fix that now. I think I'll go for this one because at least it's the same nation, isn't it? Although, leave a comment down below if you are a European, because I want to know what happens if you commit a crime. Say you rob a bank in Belgium and you get chased by the Rozzers. I'll just make some noise in a second. Yeah, you get chased by the Rozzers and you cross into another country. What happens? Say it's in Belgium. I'm not planning a bank robbery, obviously, but if you rob a bank in Belgium and drive to Luxembourg, whatever, do the Belgian authorities let the Luxembourg authorities take over, or do they just keep chasing because they're all part of the EU? Let me know in the comments. Have you ever robbed a bank in Belgium? Seems to be a random question, doesn't it? That's a really good looking helicopter. It looks like something I've seen in real life, but maybe not. Let's see. Oh, I just put some reading glasses on. Oh wow, nice helicopter. Oh. Skis are a bit out of whack because of the packaging. Oh, it's a Bell. Bell 429. It is a real helicopter. Bell is probably the most famous helicopter I know. That's a beauty. Stands up perfectly. I wonder if they're in scale. I'm guessing not. I have a feeling that's a much bigger helicopter. But what do I know? I've been on a lot of helicopters in my time. My father was a real helicopter fan, and when he was around, any time we got a chance, we went on a helicopter. Just joyrides. Is that the same? No, it's not the same. One's a Peugeot, one's a Renault. Look at that. And being majorette, obviously. I think this is the first time I've used the word majorette in this video. It's not very good, is it? Yes, being a majorette, doors open and close perfectly. The Renault Megane. Remember when the Megane looked so funky? They haven't made it to Australia, believe it or not. This one has as well, but in even fewer numbers. But I remember the Megane, it was offered as a prize, like a raffle in a shopping centre, and the back cut in and then cut out again. So radical, so French, really nice. And this is the Peugeot. So lost when it comes to the back of majorette cards. I don't know where I'm looking, even more so. So get a bit lost on Matchbox, they change it around on you so much. And of course, majorette has an opening part. There we go. Cool wheels, cool everything. The fascination with emergency vehicles, it seems to be almost universal among males, and I'll tell you why I think that, because on a this is 20 years ago now, and I'm still talking about it. That's what travel does to you, I think. On a 2000-2001 trip to Europe, we stayed with a German girl in Bavaria, and randomly one snowing morning, which is random in itself, an ambulance pulled into the very quiet village she was a resident in, and its lights were flashing, and it just stood there in the snow, and the paramedics got out and walked into a house, and my brother and I we were glued to the window, curtain twitches, you know. To add to the collection. Hey, what's that? Is that Lancia? Ooh. Dacia. Never heard of that one. Maybe I have. Not a familiar car make at all. One of the very few car makes I haven't seen in Australia. Australia's famed for... Yeah, that's popped out. Lovely. Sort of a mini SUV, isn't it? If we were going to go that way in Australia, it would be probably a Subaru Forester, not one of these. Back to the story. As the gendarmerie force multiplies before our very eyes. We were curtain twitching out the window, and if you're not familiar with the phrase curtain twitcher, it's someone who wants to see but not be seen. So we were glued to the window staring out at this ambulance with its lights flashing out there in the snow, and we didn't want anyone to want an ambulance or need an ambulance, but it wasn't about them, it was about the ambulance. And our host, the lady we were staying with for a few nights, couldn't comprehend why we were so enthralled by this emergency vehicle out there. But it was just so off the wall to us. The design of the ambulance, the make and the model of the ambulance, the paint job, the snow, everything. It was so alien and so riveting. And then, of course, the patient got wheeled out on a stretcher, or carried out on a stretcher because there was so much snow, plonked in the back, and off they went, and then the show was over. And it's like, But there is something about emergency vehicles. This is a Citroen C4 Cactus. Incredibly, Australia gets the Cactus in very small numbers, but certainly not as the National Police. We don't really even have National Police. We have the Feds, but they monitor airports and things. But So here we have 3 different police departments for France, whereas I suppose that would be the normal police. Maybe not, because that's dark blue as well. As I scramble, we bring the old fellas in, and then the white ones. These are all gifts from Chasing Diecast Cars. Such a generous gift box. And oops, something a little bit off the wall. Speaking of off the wall, see that engine detail quickly before I slam it shut forever. That's the VW Amarok. Yeah, Volkswagen Amarok. Fairly common in Australia, but never as a service vehicle of any kind. Would be the Toyota Hilux here. And what else? If all this stuff is going down, you're going to need an ambulance at some point. Let's bring on one of those. Oh, before that, ooh. Some more National Police rocking up, this one in the Norev. The more the merrier, obviously. No moving parts on the Norev, but just as well detailed. I love the colour of that light bar. Probably less realistic than the Majorette, but I'm digging it. Don't get Norev in Australia. It's nice. Little Peugeot, and yet again I've interrupted myself. But here is an ambulance on the scene to make things right. Or for tourists to curtain twitch and stare at it until it leaves. Ambulance is the same in French as it is in English, same with police. It's the one thing that makes you homesick when you're on holiday, is the lack of understanding of everyday things. It's got seats in it, not stretchers. Yeah, obviously, unmistakably an ambulance. Not sure what the scale is, but it doesn't matter with these vans. I notice Australia's getting the Toyota Hiace, which is a van, and they are huge. There's one that parks around the corner from where I live, and when I'm heading out to work each morning, it's sitting there waiting to start work, presumably. It's just plain white, full of seats, but really big things. They're basically vans. Well, they're a van, but they're basically buses, should I say. So many seats in them. But they seem unrealistically big, but there they are in the flesh, or the steel. One last thing I want to bring your attention to is the subject of ugly beauty and things that mean business if they are less attractive, which attracts me to them. This bit of a vehicle is always so eye-catching to me. It feels military. It feels robust. It almost feels Cold War. But the more overhang on a vehicle, and especially if it's got two sets of steering wheels, the more ungainly it is, the more I'm attracted to it. And it might just be a phase I'm going through, like a good curry, I don't know. But yeah, that to me is very eye-catching. Something strange going on inside my tiny brain. Maybe it'll pass, but I don't think so. Wow, I'll do a pan around because I've only covered half of this stuff here, but it's kind of scratched an itch I had today of multiplying my French police force or emergency services, and I think I'll move the signs back to the back wall. They'll come out eventually again, I think, when I get hold of some major kit. It's going to be the next majorette target, I feel. Look at that sea of dark blue. Very nice. Put the old in the front. Oops. Ambulance should come in later, shouldn't it, when things go really south. Maybe the fire engine too. But yeah, we'll take a step back a little bit so I can flood the table with all the other stuff that Jeroen sent me. Well, some of the other stuff actually. And we'll do a pan around just now. The stuff I didn't get to today. Right. Many different ambulances, so old, so absolutely old, which makes them obviously much harder to find, and when you do find them, much more expensive. And I remember in the original video, this was all pushed up, but I think I did it as I unpacked it from the bubble wrap, but that's safely back in its original symmetry and never opening, or never being freed by me anyway. Same with the police van. Absolutely no yellowing on that sticker. There is on the plastic, but not on the sticker. So to me that's priceless. And a couple with the, I think that was the original version with the decal rather than the sticker. Might be wrong, but that's my perception of it. And there goes that truck again. Is it that the same truck? Oh, look at that. Dutch and French. Same model. But yeah, that funny bull nose just feels like it's not going to mess around. And some from my own collection, because you've got to have some civilians who's going to rob the bank. Who are you going to chase? So they can go and shot. Are they in shot? Yes, just. And some other civilian cars that Chasing Diecast Cars Jeroen sent me. The heart stoppers, as I refer to them as. And if your getaway car breaks down, you're gonna need a taxi. I think the best way to elude the Rozzers would be to park your car in a shopping centre car park, walk through the mall, go to the taxi stand out the other side. I reckon that would work every time. It does in the movies. But that'd be quite conspicuous, wouldn't it, getting into an American taxi? I'm not sure you'd find one of those in Europe. Anyway, enough rabbiting on. The cat seems to have got bored, so he left me alone. And yeah, we got through the video. Like, share, subscribe, and also I'll leave a link in the description for Chasing Diecast Cars down below. Check his channel out if you haven't already. I can't believe you wouldn't have. Billions of people have, but I'll leave a link in the description regardless. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.